Day 967 of the Trump administration, and just tonight, there's a new problem with the way House Democrats are going after and trying to use what are normally secret grand jury materials from the Mueller investigation. The Democrats argue they need them for an impeachment inquiry. The Justice Department, though, is pushing back, saying the Democrats haven't made it at all clear that this is an impeachment inquiry. This question is now before a federal judge. And in court papers, Trump's DOJ specifically mentions the messaging by the Democrats has been all over the place. Specifically, they say, quote, the Speaker of the House has been emphatic that the investigation is not a true impeachment proceeding. They add the committee's own description of its investigation makes clear that it is too far removed from any potential judicial proceeding. The filing even cites news media reports on the Democrats' conflicting descriptions of just what they are doing here. It includes two stories from Andrew Desiderio, who joins us in just a moment. In fact, we at this humble broadcast had noted this same thing earlier this week, and we aired the following as proof that no two Democrats are saying the same thing on impeachment.
For anyone that was confused, we are in the midst of an investigation.
We're holding hearings for the purpose of investigating the possibility of voting articles of impeachment against the president.
I think Chairman Nadler has described the proceedings well.
And what we're doing tomorrow is adopting procedures enabling us to do it more effectively.
So it's a bit technical inside baseball, maybe.
Essentially, the impeachment inquiry has already begun.
People can call this whatever they want to call it.
I don't want to get caught in semantics.
Do you personally support moving forward with articles of impeachment against the president? I think we should move forward on things leading up to that.
The only vote that is ultimately going to matter is whether we vote to impeach him.
Today's move by the Justice Department comes one day after the House Judiciary Committee voted to ramp up, as you heard Chairman Nadler allude to, its investigation of Donald Trump, involving more hearings, more aggressive tactics when it comes to handling witnesses. Tonight, Jerry Nadler spoke out about the latest effort to thwart the investigation.
We have been very clear for the last several months in court filings, in public statements, and in proceedings in the committee that we are, in fact, conducting an investigation, preparing to decide whether to recommend articles of impeachment to the House. This is another instance of the Trump administration trying to cover up and hide from Congress and from the American people, in this case from Congress, because the American people wouldn't see the grand jury information, all kinds of information.
Meanwhile, the I word, impeachment, appears to be very much on the president's mind of late. Just this morning, he asked, quote, how do you impeach a president who has helped create perhaps the greatest economy in the history of our country, done more than any president in first 2.5 years, despite phony and fraudulent witch hunt illegally led against him? You don't impeach presidents for doing a good, great job. And it came up last night when he spoke to a gathering of House Democrats in Baltimore.
I told Nancy Pelosi, you have to do something other than try and impeach somebody that didn't do anything wrong. You have to. I said, it's hard to impeach somebody who didn't do anything wrong. The Mueller report is out. There's no collusion after 2.5 years. The
president also got a big assist today from his loyal House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who criticized Democrats for their handling of the investigation of this president.
The leadership doesn't even know what the committee's doing, let alone the conference itself. They can't even determine whether they're working on impeachment or not. The Democrats are making it an issue, and I think it's a wrong issue for them to even talk about.
Then there's this. As all this unfolds, the Washington Post is reporting that House Judiciary Committee is negotiating to bring ex-Attorney General Jeff Sessions to the Hill to testify before them. The Mueller report detailed how Trump had pummeled Sessions and tried to pressure him to reverse his recusal from the Russia matter. According to the Post, Sessions' lawyer says the only way his client's going to testify is under subpoena. The Judiciary Committee also scheduled to go to court next month to try to force former White House counsel Don McGahn to come before them at a hearing. And former Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski is scheduled to give public testimony before that same committee on September 17th to answer questions about possible obstruction of justice.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.